class. Today we have a very special guest joining us here today. I am very excited to present model, actress, and political activist, Miss Hunter Schafer. For those of you who do not know her, you may recognize her as one of the main characters, Jules Vaughn, on the award-winning show Euphoria. Others may know her from her work in political advocacy and her fight for equality and LGBT rights. I personally have been a huge fan and follower of her work since her design company that she had the idea of at just the age of 16. She started with this idea as a teenager with one goal in mind. She wanted to create art that would unite us all in a way that surpassed the gender binary. Her work has led her to where she is today. Her passion and strive has made her one of the most influential voices amongst queer youth. Her work has been recognized among many organizations, companies, who have now taken her stand to be able to use their platforms to stand up for LGBT rights. Hunter Schafer's career actually began at a very young age, at only the age of 6 years old, when she began modeling professionally. She was one of the first openly transgender women in her modeling agency at North Carolina. She since then made her platform to be able to be a voice for LGBT individuals to be seen for their own identities. She carried on in her activism into later years in her college experience when she became the first transgender woman at her university to solely win a full art competition just by her own self, with her topic being gender identity and expression. This piece entailed actually using needles from her own estrogen blockers, which allowed her to create a whole sort of installation that won her the prize. Only 2 years after this, in the year 2016, she embarked on one of her greatest acts of political activism. In 2016, there was a lawsuit with a transgender teenager suing against House Bill No. 2 in her state of North Carolina. House Bill 2, otherwise known as the Bathroom Bill, entails a law that forbids any sort of transgender individual from using a bathroom that coincides with their gender identity. This infuriated Ms. Schafer and enacted her to actually join the lawsuit and coincide with this teenager. In 2019, while she was actually on the set of Euphoria, she got the exciting news that she won the lawsuit. She talked about this essay in the process going through this in an essay she published in Teen Vogue. She talked about how the process was not only for fighting against this bill, but for noting how this was a battle proxy over discrimination against transgender individuals in both public and private spaces. She said, quote, "We are on the forefront of a revolution in which identity and expression will probably take over against labels assigned to us at birth. Quote, in which self-identification will take priority over perception, in which gender will fall apart entirely." This prompted her to start her design company that she had the idea of at just 16. This company now entails her where she will create a creative space that will allow people to have an inclusive environment that will be a safe space for queer youth. She's become one of the most influential voices for equality and fighting for rights for LGBT individuals and finding a way to help discover and break down gender barriers. And I cannot think of anyone better to discuss with you today how to use your voice to enact change. So without further ado, I present to you my icon and your presenter for the day, Ms. Hunter Schafer. Thank you.